Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is do a quick introduction. So if you're watching this particular recording, you might see the actual, not only screen, but also webcam. I'm Jeremy, and over there behind me is Robert Falco, aka Dr. Falconium. He's a doctor of the candlesticks. And I have a guest on today. Today is the last day of September, September 30th, 2020. September is also real estate month here at Real Life Trading. And with Real Estate Month, we like to talk about, well, real estate. So I'm bringing on a real estate expert, someone who is phenomenal at real estate lending. And he's going to kind of walk us through a little bit about what a personal financial statement is, a PFS, how to fill it out, why it's important. Also talk a little bit about commercial lending and why that's valuable and what lenders look for and how we can become bankable and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm going to bring on the show and invite a very special guest, a really good friend of mine, Billy Brown. He's been on the show before, and he talked about syndication last time. And this time we're going to learn all kinds of things. And at some point, Billy, if we need to share my screen or share your screen, we easily can do that as well. So you just let me know if and when we need to do that. But can you give everyone a little bit of introduction about you, man? What's your background? What's your story?
Yeah, how you guys doing, Jeremy? Good to see your smiling face.
Thanks, man.
This is, I wish we did webcam here. I actually get it set up now. You were in here a couple weeks ago in the new office. And hi, Joseph. Thank you so much for saying hi, inviting me to the group. No, but it's a little bit about me. Former professional golfer turned real estate lender, turned investor. I think I was an investor first before I got into lending. That was the story. Had my own company called Investors Capital Group. Now we're basically as a concierge commercial loan facilitator. We also have an educational front, and as a component, thanks to Jeremy, and we're in his great team. He's encouraged me to do this. We have an amazing portal on basically teaching everyone to go, what does a lender want to go lend on and why, and how you can go make money in real estate using debt and using other people's money. It's a lot of fun. So we actually we had owned a lot of properties, sold a couple last couple of years. Bought an 81 unit apartment complex last year with other people's money. And then I actually bought a 12,000 square foot office in my wife's hometown using other people's money that not only cash flows and pays for all our vacations, but is a tax write-off every time we go see her family. So boom, boom.
That's so cool.
Boom. Everyone thinks about like, oh, I don't want to deal with tenants and all that. The tenants is a multinational billion-dollar private. Unfortunately, you guys can go look them up on the stock market. Private CPA firm that's signed what's called a triple net lease, which means they pay for everything. So we just own it, sign for the debt, they pay everything else. So it's fantastic. Just actually launched, not cool as Jeremy, but I did get my first book, co-authored a book called Success Habits of Super Achievers. Went to #1 in multiple categories. I think the last count was over 30, I believe is what it was. You recognize some of the names on there.
Yep.
I wrote a small little chapter on it. Ridiculous other stories. So you guys go download that. I think it's like $3 on Kindle or whatever. $3.97. So yeah, it's pretty crazy what we did there. What else about me? I'm kind of rambling on here, but
well, that's solid, man. No, that's good. I appreciate the insight, and that's Billy lives in Nashville with me, or not with me. I wish that would be like the greatest thing ever if Billy and I lived together. We both happen to live in the same state.
Roomies, roomies.
So walk me through the types of lending.
Yeah. Oh man, we don't have enough time for all that. So we do have basically 3 types that we do. The commercial, anything that involves real estate, anything real, we can go do.
Okay.
Then that includes what we call owner occupied. If you have a business that you're operating out of your office, that's considered real estate, commercial real estate. But then investment properties, and that can be, you can buy an office building, medical office, self-storage, dry cleaners, daycare. Just you name it. Apartment buildings, small rentals. Yeah, that we actually consider it. That stuff where you actually go buy it, it's actually performing, and like, hey, you put money in, and then money comes back out. There you go. Bridge lending is more like a repositioning where it's something crappy. You're going to go like, hey, you need to go improve it a little bit, either through operations or making it pretty. That's where you come in and take it down really fast because you get a discount. You never buy retail in this world, which you guys know that. And then we do some kind of transition, 12, 24 months later to get the equity back out. And then SBA is just guarantees debt. It's like FHA. A lot of great advantages there right now, especially for small businesses. So if anyone here has small businesses looking to get some startup money, not say startup money, but some actual like lines of credit and all that to be able to go do SBA is fantastic at that, especially if you got an owner occupied business. Golly, I think rates are like the 3, actually under 3 on this.
They're low.
Low. So, less than anytime you get the bar for less than inflation, ridiculous. So, what we do is basically we're concierge. We're investors first. So we actually look at everything like, how does this perform as an investment? And then we go into, well, how do we maximize profits using the right lending? So actually kind of reverse engineer everything, knowing our lender network and going, well, here's how each one of these lenders is going to look at this thing. Here's kind of what the rates are. And here's how you go maximize those profits in terms of, cash on cash and all that. So
can we practice sharing your screen really quick?
Let's see here. Go right ahead.
I'm gonna stop sharing, and you're a panelist, so you should be able to share, because I want you to help change some of our mindsets, Billy, regarding like commercial real estate, because everyone, I think, knows relatively how residential real estate works in essence, right? But commercial real estate is a little bit of a different beast, and I want to start kind of walking down that path some of commercial real estate. Yeah. You mentioned lending, like what do we need as a potential investor to invest in commercial real estate?
Oh, good question here. Here, let me pull up the list. New share. How about this? All right. So when you go into a loan, let me think about this. So first and foremost, the lender's your friend. The lender's your friend. And can you guys see this loan document checklist? Everyone good there?
Yep, we can see that.
Yep. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So this right here, this is the checklist that every loan lender needs. I don't care what they are. They need this to go evaluate you. But the lender's your friend. They want to make sure a couple things. One is you, the borrower, are not going to be overextended. So right now, especially, they're going to look for experience. You have experience in buying and operating this. And this is as a real estate investor, you're buying a business. You're operating a business with your team, which is completely different than what you would be doing as buying an investment property through like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac mortgages. Calling up a mortgage broker, one of our friends like Diane Stein or someone like that, saying, hey, okay, well, you've got all this extra income. We don't really care if you make money or not. We'll give you the money. Commercial lenders want to make sure that the actually asset you're buying will make money. So they're going to do a couple of things. And one is evaluate the property. And I'm not going to go over this right here, but they're looking to see what the net operating income is. So profitability is what they're looking for, and that covers the debt. And then from there, they want to know about you, and they want to know, like, okay, when, not if, when the crap hits the fan, how are you going to be able to right the ship? So that's why they ask for all these documents right here. And this is what I kind of refer to this as baking the cake. These are all the ingredients that a lender is going to look for to be able to give you a loan. Now they're going to provide a massive amount of leverage, which is why I love real estate. Leverage. There's so many different ways to leverage. It's just so much fun, especially when you can combine like creative lending and all this other stuff with actual formal commercial lending. Oh my gosh, it's limitless. But they're going to provide leverage, so you need to actually know what they need and play by the rules and look through investments through their eyes. So this is the checklist just to start. So it's what I call, hopefully this doesn't offend anybody, but it's the 2 rubber glove treatment. So they're going to do a deep dive on you. And anything that's, especially people have a whole bunch of little businesses that they own, they need all those tax returns, and they're going to do, global cash debt servicing, make sure you're what's not called bleeding out the other side. Because you can look great on 3 of your investments, but then one of your other business over here is just, it's got a cut artery on cash flow, and that's sucking up all the cash flow, everything else. So they need to know that. So again, they're the friend, making sure you're not trying to get over your head. So, yeah. Lending's a lot of fun. Love debt. Love debt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so walk me through it. Like when you say you love debt, like that's such a scary term for so many people. I mean, a lot of people don't want to get in debt. Why do you love debt?
So debt is, I look at it this way. I mean, raise your hand if you want like somebody to invest in you. Yeah.
People to invest in
Yeah.
me.
What do they want? They want a piece of your upside. So real life trading, I go invest in real life trading. And like, I know Jeremy's rock star. I'm going to give you $1 million for this thing to go invest in you, but I'm going to ride this thing all the way up. And when you make money, we make money. And this valuation, this thing, as this business goes off a multiple of EBITDA, then, I get a piece of the action too. Lenders are an investor in your business at a higher leverage and are not going to take any of the upside. They're just going to take a small return. So think about that. Does that reformat your brain? What debt is? They're partnering with you. Yeah,
it does. So, I mean, in that partnership, so they're just asking for a return on their money, and it's generally not that much of a return, right?
No, it's not. It's really not. I mean, 4 or 5, 6% sometimes.
Yeah. So initially, a lot of this up front, though, looks scary. So LLC in existence or to be formed, an operating agreement when available. So let's say I just want to buy a commercial property, apartment complex, and I don't have those two things. Should I have those two things?
No, you don't need to. You can buy your own name if you want to. I don't believe you should as an investor. You want to use an entity because all the legal protections there. But you don't have to have one. You can go form it down the road. I mean, how long does it take to form an entity? What, 15 minutes? I mean, really?
Yeah, I want to pause on that for a second, though. And, Robert Kiyosaki talks about that a lot, that, businesses are just paperwork. But a lot of things that hold people back, and me in the past, I had a big fear about spending time and money forming an LLC because I was like, I don't know how to do it. Or I don't have enough money. Or I don't have enough time. It's like, it's not hard or expensive.
It's all online.
Yeah, it's online. Like, lending, LegalZoom does it. It's so fast, and it's really, really cheap.
Yeah, sometimes you need LegalZoom. Just there's operating agreements out there on LegalZoom you can buy. Just plug and play. That's what, $100 or whatever at the most.
Yeah.
All that stuff, the entity stuff is, I mean, again, if Jeremy, I know you, I love you. We're cut out of the same cloth as far as not detail oriented. Hire somebody to go do the detail stuff.
Yeah.
That's what your CPA can do.
Yeah.
It's like, just pay them. Like, I'll pay you a couple $100 to go do this for me. And they'll do it because they can go do it. I don't keep track of this stuff. I mean, I have a wife that does it, and we have a CPA that does it. It's my better use of my time is going and creating revenue streams through finding deals. And let me give you this hack right here. So this is the biggest hack you'll learn right here. If anyone, and I don't care if you're going to borrow money or not, you need to do this. It's going to take you a couple of days to go do this. Put all your financials into a cloud service like Dropbox or Google Drive. Index these things. It's so simple to go do, and then it's done. You're not going to have tax returns every month. It's going to be once a year. Label it, folder, tax returns 2019. Put all your W-2s in there. Put all your 1099s in there. It's all saved. Boom. Your IDs, driver's license and form IDs, boom, there. Pay stubs, you don't really need to update those unless you're going to borrow money, but keep them in there. Personal financial statement, you're going to be able to fill out, if you're an active borrower, we actually update it monthly, but most people update it quarterly.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Once you know how to go do it and then put it in a cloud service, that's free. And then anytime a lender asks for it, there you go. I mean, all this stuff, it needs to be like one place.
Yeah. Which is really key. And that's, again, the whole, PFS, can you explain what that is? Because I know I use the abbreviation, but can just in broad form scope.
Yeah. So everyone knows what a balance sheet is on a company. You guys evaluate those as, stock trades. You want to know what's on their balance sheet. This is a personal financial statement is based on your own balance sheet. Assets, liabilities, cash flow, income, expenses. It's all right there. It's all it is. So you just go through all that. Unfortunately, I don't have one pulled up right now. I can show you the snippet of it, but it's not hard to go do. see if you actually hang on one second. Let me give
Yeah,
you
see if you can
one.
show me a snippet of one. I'd love to see what a
Um,
PFS looks like.
Hang on.
And while Billy's pulling this up, ladies and gentlemen, so what he's about to show us is really, if you are looking to invest in, again, either a residential property or a commercial property, you need one of these. So it's not like, oh, this would be really cool. I'm glad Jeremy is showing us something. No, you need one of these to be an investor, and an investor of any scale. You have to be able to show your lender what you're doing. Now, unless you're paying for something in cash, which you can do, and there are absolutely situations and times to do that. Unless you're doing a cash purchase, you need what Billy's about to kind of show us.
Yeah, it's I'm actually pulling up. Someone sent me here. I'm just deleting all this stuff. Excel. I mean, I've got one of these things. I mean, mine's free. Just send me an email. Jeremy's got my email. I'll send you guys these things. It's not hard once you fill it out.
Yeah. What's your email again? It's Billy
at billybrown.me.
at billybrown.me. And yeah, if you do have any investing endeavors or things that you're interested in, either commercial, mostly commercial real estate, if you know that's something you want to do in the future and you need a lender to really, someone who can really help you on the lending side, just kind of get you some more information and details and structures, Billy, great person to connect with.
All right, let me see here. Copy that one. All right, what do you guys see? You guys see an Excel?
Yep.
And it says copy of branded personal financial statement at the top.
Well, it went away. Right now I see you and your beautiful wife, Allison.
Okay, that's the two screen thing. How's this? How does that look?
There we go. Money.
Here, get rid of this, guys. All right, so all personal financial statements are going to be, should we got that down there? Basically the same. They're not going to be exactly like this, but when you go in the bank, they're actually going to send you one of these things and go, hey, fill out a PFS for us. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, yeah. You got to be kidding me.
Oh no.
Fill out another freaking one of these things. Every lender has to make you fill in one of these things. And you go, you know what? Here's another hack for you. If you have this and it's filled out and it's saved on your computer, ask them, hey, is it okay if I just send you mine? Oh, okay, that's fine. Boom, saves you so much time right there.
Yep.
Just do it.
That's a great hack too. Because it doesn't have to be it that's something that a lot of people think, but it doesn't have to be theirs.
No, because if you know how to, I don't care if it's mine or someone else's, if you know where all the numbers are, you can better explain it to them. And most of these guys know where to look for the information they need. So let me start with what it's basically depository, non-depository. Most of you guys are going to be depository lenders, your community banks, whatever. What do you think the number one thing that they care about is right now?
Oh, I don't know. What is it?
Cash.
Yeah.
They need deposits.
The banks do, you're saying?
The banks need deposits.
Okay.
They need deposits, especially around Nashville. They need a lot of the deposits. They have not gotten their refund from Federal Reserve from PPP as of yet, I don't believe. Many of them are still waiting on that. They got their fees from the SBA, but not the refund of the money. So they're a little light on cash. So here's another hack here. When you do, there's usually 2 pages, 2 tabs. All right. So start on page 2. Easy. And our schedules are all basically labeled the same. You go from cash, securities that are marketable, non-marketable securities. You guys know this, what marketable, non-marketable securities are. Marketable securities, obviously, you're like, hey, you can go sell these things pretty easily. Non-marketable, can't sell them. Stuff like syndications and all that. Life insurance and then real estate, this is not obviously it's an asset, but it's really not. It's not very liquid. And then you go down here, schedule sheets, notes payable. It's where you kind of like the catch-all stuff down here. This is pretty easy. Do you have a drawn will? Why would a lender want to know if you have a will?
Yeah. So did you have they have protection in case something happens.
Yeah. If you die and your estate owes them money, who's they going to talk to?
Yep.
And then everything, and I'll give you kind of a little bit more on this a little bit later. So obviously the first part, individual 1, individual 2, you guys should know how to fill out your birthday and all that. So not even going to go over that one, but assets minus liabilities. Okay. So what's your assets? All this carries over. See Schedule 1. Schedule 1. That's just a summary.
Yeah.
Same thing. Schedule 2, Schedule 4, Schedule 5, all summarized over here. Who owns what? And then it totals over. Other personal property. What would that include? Well, you may have, a collection of really cool Nike shoes that's worth $10,000.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then retirement plans that you may not put in there. Stocks, you may, all that fun stuff and put in there. Other assets.
Yeah.
So then you go liabilities. All right. Well, what do you owe the banks? That's secured and unsecured. And then notes payable to others, like, hey, I borrowed, $6 million from Jeremy to go invest in the stock thing. That'd be, it's probably unsecured, until I put it into stocks and it's secured. Margin accounts, you guys are familiar with that. You're borrowing money against your stock portfolio or anything else. Real estate, what you owe people in real estate. And then obviously if you owe the IRS money, guess what? They want to know about that.
Yeah, sure.
And then loans on life insurance policy. Oh, and here's a little hack here. So life insurance. This is, you want to know the company is who's owned by a beneficiary, face value. This is where people screw up the most. If you just have a term life insurance policy, you just put that in there. There's no cash value. And then cash value, you can actually borrow against that on the whole life stuff. So that's where you have the loans and amount pledged if you got any pledges there. Mm. Once you have assets, you can do a lot of things with it. So assets over liabilities. Remember that, guys. And then contingent liabilities. Most of you guys are going to have that. It's usually 98% of people don't have anything like this. Yeah. It's when you get into sophisticated stuff. And they want to know about your income. Sorry, I deleted this right here because get the guy's personal information off there. Yeah. How much money do you make? And you can go year ended, you can go year to date. Here's another little hack. When you do something like this, guys, this is yours. You can actually color outside the lines. Boom, mind blown. Nobody fits inside this box. Nobody. If you fit inside the box, you should have it's not hard to go do lending. Nobody that is active, especially this group right here, or any of my investors, fits inside the box. You have to go find some color, add notes. You're going to have stuff over here going, okay, well, what happened here? What happened here? Just make some notes out there so that the lender understands that when they look at it. They're used to seeing that. They're used to dealing with complicated. And lenders, if you have a complicated life, which you probably do, everyone does now, don't be scared like, I can't borrow any money. Yeah, lenders are used to seeing this. Just provide us cookie crumbs. Tell the story, what this looks like. So I get income here, salaries, wages, bonuses, commissions, all that fun stuff is there. Net income, net expenses is a cool one because the expenses are already covered when you do investing. Your expenses are covered to get to net operating income. Yep. Draws, distributions, other gifts. Craft. You got Aunt Susie gives you $10,000 a year and it's been ongoing. Put that in there. The expenses. Oh, Aunt Susie. Yeah, I know. Wish Aunt Susie was still around. Mortgages, rents, all our debt service. Insurance. I put insurance in here. Sort of add that in. Just so people know, like you have health insurance and it's either you pay for it, it's covered by your employer, alimony, all that other, this might be something there that you pay on. It's a catch-all. One of the things that's not taught and not told is when you get into like a mortgage lending, they talk about debt to income, 41%, 43% or whatever it is. And it's just basically, it's a straight line number. When you get into commercial lending, they actually hit you for living expenses. You're like, wait, what? Like, yeah, you got to live. So they take a chunk off the top before you do the taxes. So it's off the top. So you get chunks like, okay, well, if you're married and you got kids, they're usually going to take away, basically $10,000 per adult, and $6, $7, $8,000 per kid as far as living expenses. Which, if you have kids, $7,000 a year is pretty, pretty conservative.
Very conservative, but that's interesting.
Very conservative.
Yeah, but I didn't know they did that off. They kind of did that off the top.
Yep, they do at the top. Yep, yep. So yeah, and that's down. They there's every single depository lender kind of runs it the same way, but has a little bit different flavor on how they go do it. So
Yeah.
that's but just something to know there. So that's what I want to know on page 2. Are you married or single? Do you have kids? All that.
Yep.
So,
Got it. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And here's
yeah.
So as you're filling this out, as you're going through it, the big question that I have, and I think a few other traders are going to have, what is it exactly that they're looking for?
Well, there's 2 things. One, you're applying for a loan, so you need to know exactly what you're applying for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, car loans, you don't need that for this. They're not going to look back much on that very much. But you go buying real estate. So depository lenders want what? Deposits. I'm sure you cover this in your courses. Is how do lenders make money? How do depository lenders make money? They borrow money from you in form of deposits for very little return. Their cost of funds is not even 1%. They partner that with borrowing money from the Fed, and then lend that back out to you on assets. So it's an amazing scam. I mean, sorry, not scam. Did I say that out loud? Please stop recording.
Sorry.
No, it's amazing what they can go do as far as like the true arbitrage and all that. Now they get like expenses in the form of lawyers to keep all the bureaucracies off their tail, but that's what they're looking for is deposits. More deposits they have, they can multiply that by 10. So if someone has $100,000, they can go put that out to about $1 million, go loan out. So that's what they're looking for, to be able to steal deposits from everyone else. And in addition to that is, do you have the cash flow to be able to support yourself as well as the asset? If the asset covers itself, and usually they want the net operating income to cover the debt by at least 25 to 30%. So they're looking for that. And then that should carry over to you, and you should be at a minimum, 15% above your expenses.
Yeah, makes sense.
If the cash don't flow, the loan don't go.
What's that?
Robert says if the cash don't flow, the loan don't go.
Oh, that's a good one. Trademark that one.
The bank.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Trademark that one. That's a good one.
So is there a specific ratio or anything that they really try to like key in on?
I mean, if you're above a 1.5, if you have 50% more net income than expenses, then you're going to be good. I mean, you're solid. The thing that they're going to look for is obviously cash. I mean, can you move cash? Can you move a relationship over to these depository lenders to be able to make them more money? So again, it gets back to the partnership thing. The lender's a friend, the lender's a partner. What do partners bring? It's not like, hey, I'm going to go buy this, piece of property and you're going to give me money. Yeah. Okay. You get a smaller return, but what else can you bring to the table? Oh, deposits. Okay. Some lenders are okay with not having deposits. Some are. You got the cash flow in there. What other things can you bring to them as far as a relationship? More deals, referrals, and all that. Now, this being said, every lender out there in the commercial world has you fill out a personal financial statement. There's actually lenders out there that don't actually care about deposits because they get their source of funds is a different place. So they go out and go raise funds, hedge funds, institutional debt, all that.
Yeah.
And they don't really care because they've got too much money. They have to go put it into play. They're always looking for deals. So you having money is just a form of security as far as reserves.
Yep.
You know that you have it, not that they want to go take it from you and go try to entice you to bring it over.
So here's a basic question then too. Do lenders look at the actual deal that you're going to get into, or is that just investors as well?
Yeah, the deal. Yeah, they're definitely in charge of this thing. So how they underwrite the property is similar but different than how an investor would underwrite it. And there's all sorts of ways, resources, all that to go show you how lenders go do it. But for the most part is you got to know on this. Here's one for my business partner trademark. Or you should. Y'all don't buy on hopium.
Yep.
If it don't cash flow right now, don't go buy it.
Yep.
Just because you can, also don't overpay. That's the biggest thing. So most people overpay and then they have to go work for it. That's not an investment. That's a job. So it's got to cash flow right now. It's got to service debt right now. And you got to know how to calculate cash on cash, by the way, as far as your returns for leverage. But lenders will actually look at a couple different things. They look at things a little bit differently. One, they're going to look at your vacancies, both physical and economic vacancies. Just because a property is 100% occupied right now doesn't mean when you take it over it's going to be 100% occupied. I know you're not going to believe me, but sellers lie about their occupancy.
What?
Mind blown. I know.
Why would they do that?
I don't. They're not truthful. There's ways to go check that, but the assumption is, even if your investor is like, yeah, you just don't believe anything that they say, you just got to go check it out. Estoppel certificates will help, but even then they can pad their friends in there and not paying. So ask me how I know, because we actually knew that the seller of the property we bought up in not Wisconsin, up in Kentucky, he was a little shady. So we actually put in our pro forma about 20% decline in rent collections off what he had. Yeah. And it was about 15%. So it was amazing how many people actually were warm bodies in there that actually weren't paying.
Sure.
The other one is CapEx, capital expenditures, to be able to improve the property and maintenance. Most people are selling properties because they're underperforming and they just want it off their mind because they don't know how to go run it. Yeah. And they need more money to go make it run right, and they don't have it because they've run the thing in the ground. They've stripped all the cash flow because they've been taking money out the till, put in their back pockets, not putting it in the property. So the lender's actually going to force you in some cases to go have an escrow account for maintenance and capital expenditures because things break. The roof leaks, air conditioners break, things happen. You got to be able to have money for that. So they're actually going to hit you for a little bit more of those expenses when they actually do their calculations. Yeah.
Interesting. So I have two questions from the chat pane. I'll start with the first one. So Thomas is asking you, what's a typical cash on cash that you shoot for?
Thomas, great question. Personally, that I shoot for infinite.
It's a good answer, but
infinite. Yeah. Now a good cash on cash. Well, I mean, it's your return. Like you're going to put money out there. What's your return? Now you guys are, with Jeremy again, he's like, 1,000, 2,000%, that's normal for that. But for as an asset that's more passive, what do you want? Long-term, we're looking right now. So the bigger it is, the smaller return you're going to get just because of what it is, but you have more dollars there. Smaller percentage, larger dollars. 8 to 10% is actually really good right now. Some of the middle size things, 15%. If you go syndicate, which is a whole other conversation, those can be the 20 to 30% cash on cash numbers, or even infinite, because if you syndicate, sometimes you don't have any real money in there.
Right. You just get the deal together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. The 8 to 10%, like that's pretty standard. It's a good number. I think if you can get it, like if you're just pure passive and you can put in, let's say $500,000 into a deal and you get 10% return annually over 5 or 7 years, like that's pretty solid, I think. And again, if it's a real estate control.
Yeah. The big thing there, you don't actually get to see out there. Cash on cash is kind of fun, but also rents will go up. Sometimes in commercial buildings, there's built-in lease bumps. And of course, because of that, the valuation, which is tied to the performance of the net operating income, goes up. So, and also the loan is paid down by the tenant. So you have those three things as far as a valuation add, debt decrease. So it increases your IRR. So your internal rate of return. And that's when you love to see, the 20 to 30%, year over year. So we always target for our investors, doubling your money in 5 years. That's always fun.
Yeah. That's killer, man. That's really killer. Another question from Alex in the chat pane says, how have you done in the last 5 to 6 months with COVID and tenants being able to pay? Are you worried about government regulations which prevent evictions?
How have we done? So it was not funny. It was fascinating because post 2008 to 2011, people found the secure things that didn't go bump in the night after that down shock. So they went into apartment buildings, they stayed away from offices, they did all that. Well, what happened in COVID shutdown? All the things that were supposedly be recession resistant weren't COVID resistant. So it just blew it all up. No one really knows. You can't predict the future. So for us, and I'm sorry, the sawing right next door. This is fantastic. It's like, this is great. Hopefully you guys can't hear that.
No, we can't.
Right outside my window. He's got a circular saw. Our apartment in Kentucky, which they did basically mandatory no evictions on for I don't know how long. We have, I think, 3 or 4 evictions pending. And we'll get them out. I think they've already left, and we're renting up those guys. What was the fun thing was we actually had a fire the day before they locked down everything that destroyed 12 units. Not destroyed it, but smoked out 12 units, destroyed 1. Fortunately, we had insurance, so our economic vacancy is low because we're actually getting paid by the insurance. But we still have some vacancies there that are physical. So we're overall doing okay and actually ahead of schedule. Our problem was with the construction and rehab. We couldn't find a great contractor to run everything. We've run behind there. Our office building up in Wisconsin with the triple net, it's fantastic. Runs like clockwork.
Yeah.
I did actually talk with a lender with Walker and Dunlap. What day is today? Wednesday, I think Monday. And historically, across their entire portfolio of loans, they were in the high 90s as far as rent collections, which is really important. And now they're down to the low 90s.
Yep.
So I said, well, what's your prognostication here? He goes, it's probably going to stay around here for a little bit, then go back up in the collection. So he feels very bullish on what's about to happen. But there's still a lot of headway legally. And again, it's state by state. I mean, California, Chicago area, Illinois, New York. Oh God help you if you own something up there.
Yeah.
Basically you're giving away, it's public housing now. You're not getting paid for it. So I just can't imagine. So.
That's spot to be in. Gotcha. Well, very good question. Again, if anyone else has any questions for Billy, feel free to throw them in the chat pane and be happy to chat about it or talk through it. Billy, walk me through like someone's first commercial deal. So your first commercial deal, what did it look like? What did you look for? Why'd you do it?
First commercial one, we actually borrowed money from a lender. We did this thing called house hacking. And this is great for people that really want to be, use leverage the right way, but don't really want to buy anything typically really big. So we bought a house, lived there a few years, bought another one, rented that last one out, and did that a couple of times. So we went from single family to duplex. That was the big one right there. If you go buy a duplex and have a single family that you also rent out, I mean, you live for free. I mean, it's just boom, magical things happen right there. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest deal right there. But when we actually realized and pursued and got over the mental constipation that bigger was easier and syndicated that apartment complex, that was that was it was a learning curve, but it wasn't a learning curve because actually I had provided lending on that. So I knew what to expect. But at the same time, you didn't know what to expect because of what you're walking into. It's a team. So if you go, the biggest thing you guys got to know is commercial lending, commercial investing is a team sport. Do not do it on your own. Lock arms with people that are much smarter than you. No one has all the criteria needed on their own. And if you do, I wouldn't do it. I would go find very, very smart people to go partner with. That's what saved me. Being able to have someone who can granularly get into the numbers and how to maximize returns was phenomenal. And then even like the loan process, it was crazy because we knew what to expect, but the lender we chose wasn't my lender. It was my friend's lender. Was not very communicative. They were just completely silent, going, guys, like, this is what I do all day long. We have it available. All this stuff that you see, the checklist there, it's all available. Just let us know. And they kept on dripping it. And this drove was crazy.
Yeah.
The biggest one is you do these things especially you talk about non-recourse lending, which non-recourse is a fun thing. Meaning you don't personally guarantee the loan. The entity does. Anyone's get all upset at what Trump does. All his loans are non-recourse.
Yeah.
So he does not have any personal guarantee. His entities do it, and these little bubbles. They're called special purpose entities. But when you go sign this loan document for $3-4 million, guess what you sign? How many pages is it? You want to take a guess?
4.
1.
Wow. Okay. Probably longer.
You literally sign a single piece of paper with your name on it and date it, and you have it notarized. The loan documents are escrowed to your attorney. The loan's the loan. If you want to go read a note, everything's templated. You can go read the note. It's 75 pages or so. You go download, especially the agency debt, like the multifamily agency debt things are out there. It's all the same. They just plug in the loan amount and your interest rate.
Yeah.
But you literally sign 1 page. You send it to the attorney. The attorney escrows it, and then I think you have a couple of days for that to review everything. And if you say it's okay, then you tell your attorney like, hey, it's okay, and they put everything else in the package. It's done. It's recorded. So it's crazy. And when you're dealing with, like, we raised 1.3 million or whatever, you start sending money that kind of big and it's going places and it's all over the place. You're going, I could be scammed right now and I didn't even know it. That's like the first thing that happened when you send away $700,000-$800,000 to this lender or this title company or whatever. You're going, this could be gone. You don't even know it. And then you check yourself going, okay, I know these people. So it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's scary as hell.
It is. It's definitely scary. So
Yeah.
Joseph has a good question in the chat pane that you might be able to answer. He says, what are your thoughts on commercial lending in countries like Belize?
Ooh, I got a friend in Belize. David Kafka is down there. They get a really good place. So each country has their own lending laws. So you just got to go find those things out. Now, lending in itself, the fundamentals of how you lend do not change from country to country. The fundamentals are the fundamentals are the fundamentals. Now, how they get to the fundamentals as far as the numbers, that's the question you got to ask. Leverage is good if you know the counterparty risks. So if you're going to go buy a vacation rental down there and COVID hits and no tourists can come, how are you going to make those payments? And what's the recourse of the lender and what kind of relationship you have with the lender? So, I don't know, hopefully did that answer the question or, I'm always in favor of leverage. Just got to make sure you know who you're getting in bed with as far as partner.
Yeah, that's the key. It's all about, if it sounds too good to be true, don't do it generally. Yeah. And make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know some research because you can ask as many questions as you want when it comes to lending. A lot of people forget that they can just really, really dive into it. And when you mentioned the recourse, that's the thing that lenders want to know is like, and same thing with you. If you're lending money if you are the lender, you should be doing these underwriting skills as well. right? If you go into partnership with someone, you can ask for their PFS, right? You can say, hey, if I'm going to work with you, Billy, on this project, give me your personal financial statement. Let me see what you're doing. Let me get all of your information so you can really know exactly who you're working with.
And that's kind of funny. My wife, her background's coaching and all that, and she's a controller, but she started getting into coaching on the finance side. We've done this, and she's actually helping people, and a lot of single ladies, like, well, this is crazy, but this is one thing she hits on. It's like, you need to know basically the financial wherewithal of the person you're dating, and how you ask that and how you go do that, because you can tie everything together. You don't want to marry somebody for money, but also, you're inheriting their money, but also their debt. So, it's a great question about getting in bed with somebody, is be able to know that. But especially the business route, God, yes, you need to know those things.
Yeah. First date, show me your PFS. That's right.
Yeah. Show me your PFS, I'll show you mine if you show me yours, it's
Right.
like, here it is,
That's it.
check it out. But the bank lending, especially international, do a lot of recon, do a lot of questions, and, ask people actually have borrowed money down there. There's actually some places that you can't really borrow money, just pay cash, just because their banking systems are so poor. I think Belize, has pretty good banking.
Yeah.
But yeah, just ask a bunch of questions, get a bunch of referrals, because you never know. It's hard to go, non-extradition treaties and all that. You can't go, some banker go steals your money. Like, what are you going to go do? So you're screwed if you're in the States and they're someplace else and off to wherever.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. Makes tons of sense.
Yep.
Another question. Thomas says, for your first investment into commercial real estate, would you be on the lending side or the borrowing side first?
Not to sound like an attorney, but it depends. If you got money to go do it, and I actually just had this conversation with a guy a little bit earlier, because he was looking to go. He has like almost 100 doors, 100 units in Iowa, and he wanted to go syndicate. And he's scared. I was like, well, here's a hack. If you actually got some more money, like $50,000 to $100,000, go invest in someone else's deal. And guess what? That money actually gains you access to ask them questions on how they do it. You're going to see their operating agreements. You're going to see their memorandums. You're going to see their underwriting, and just learn from them, and you'll be able to get a pretty good return. You'll be able to see how they handle crises. Because again, it's not if, it's when things happen. Then you'll be able to ask some questions. And sometimes you're like, well, crap, if I can go invest in them passively and get an 8% return and sit back and go do my own thing, what the hell am I going to stress out going and signing on a loan? Do my own thing,
Sure.
First, I guaranteed something like, I coach a lot of people that go, gosh, how much time do you have as a doctor to go buy something? You don't. Go invest in someone else's deal. Sit back, dude, go be a doctor, learn what they're doing, but you're like, crap, go take the returns and just go play golf, in your time off, not go have to deal with property managers or realtors, whatever, life's too short for that.
Yeah. Awesome. Speaking of golf, do you do any lessons anymore?
For $100,000 minimum, one of my investments. Yeah, we can do that.
That's right.
No, I did. Our boy Dean, I told you about this. So Dean's the magic behind, thanks to Jeremy, the all my social media marketing, all that. He's a big golf nut, and we found out, and I was like, man, like technology, like, did you just video your swing? I can go tell you in 5 minutes what you're doing wrong. It's not hard. So he's such a good dude. He did it. I 30 seconds later typed it back, and he's like, holy crap, that actually worked. Like, yeah, I know.
That's cool, man.
Pretty good.
Very cool.
So.
I love it. Well, team, go to your website really quick, Billy, and show people where they can get more information from your brain.
My brain? Oh, yeah. That's hard. Well, you had it up there. The BillyBrown.me. Just book a call with our team if you guys something lending on. There. So I got an ebook. If you guys got a portfolio of properties, most of you guys probably don't. You can just watch that. There's a pretty cool video on how to leverage that if you want to know how. But yeah, just shoot me an email, Billy@BillyBrown.me. I'll add you to the list. And then, you'll learn about I send out a weekly newsletter, and then
Yep.
you'll get, I got another ebook on commercial lending and the course and all that. But
Yeah.
just, I already.
Absolutely. And again, it's good to know. It's good to know a lending expert, someone who is just very well versed in that world, because in order to gain more money, you have to gain more money. That's one of those rules. And it's good to start learning from other people, even if you're not in the place to do it now. You start learning so that you can start building. And if you are in the place to do it now, start figuring out what's holding you back. Start figuring out what fears you have. Start figuring out what hurdles you have, what beliefs you have, and start chipping away at them. Because everyone can provide better for their family or for other families or for your community or for your church or for your service. We can all enrich lives together. And this is just one of those ways to do it. So Billy, my man, as always, thank you for being here. And thank you for enlightening us today.
Man, I appreciate that. And I got to see some of your sketches there on the candlesticks. That's pretty cool. Not my world, but I like to see you in action. But now, anything that do help you guys out? I mean, I always love talking to my boy Jeremy. Marketing and making money. It's so much fun once you know how to make money, and especially and here's, if you guys didn't know this, and I'll just stop right here. So the whole big thing about Trump's tax returns, not paying taxes and all that, it's legal, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can go do it. We got money back last year because of our real estate investing. And if you're actually a real estate investor and you're paying taxes, you're an idiot. You have a bad CPA. It's seriously, it's the reason people invest in this in stuff. The tax shelters are fantastic. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, how can I help you guys out? Any questions you got, let me know. Here to help.
Thank you. Oh, man, I really appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you so much for being here.
Peace out, guys. Have a great day.
You too, my man. And again, folks, if you are interested in getting more information, get his ebook, get on his mailing list. He does send out and I'm not going to say anything specifically important, but one deal a month generally. He sends out to his email list to certain people saying, hey, if you're interested in doing this deal, there's been many deals. I've worked on deals with Billy in the past and done all kinds of different things where he will send it out. I'll forward it to my connections, and it's really, really good. So anyway, he's been on our show before. I will also include the link in the show notes below. But for everyone else who's here, if everyone's watching and listening, thank you for being here. And I'm going to pass the microphone and the time over to our boy, Tony. Tony, where are you, my man?
Oh, I'm sitting here just taking in knowledge.
There he is. What's up, bud?
How you doing?
What is up? Doing great, man. Doing great. Had a great day.
I see that. This AMB's killing it.
Yeah, man. It's good that the market finally made a good move today.
Yeah, I'm loving it. They got some, that 320 buy off the SPY is looking pretty good right now.
That's right. Yeah, man. 320, baby.
I mean, that was my number. That was your number. I just made sense. It just made sense. 20
cents from the low, and we sold the high. I'm feeling good.
That's it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being here, brother. And everyone else, I'll be dipping out, but you're in good hands with Tony if you want to be here. And Tony, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Love you, bud.